Welcome to the post-show talk for Huang Yi's Inc. To start off, I thought we would talk a little about robots, and I wanted to ask you a two-part question about robots. Let me define the term a little bit ahead of time. The term robot comes from the arts, comes from performing arts, from a science fiction play, RUR, Rossum's Universal Robots, by Karl Čapek, that imagined idealized artificial workers. Today, it describes machines that do indeed help humans do work. They help manufacture and deliver objects which all of us have touched, and in the near future may exist commonly in human-facing spaces too. You've spoken about robots in your childhood. What is your first memory of a robot in both senses of the word? First as a literary device or a character in a story, and then as a real device, an object that was or could be built.
我的第一个对于机器人在想象中或者是那个虚构的机器人的话，就是日本的动漫哆啦 A 梦。
As a literary or a storyline character, the first one crossed my mind would be Doraemon, the Japanese cartoon character.
然后，如果是真实存在的机器人的话，真正有接触或者是真正第一次遇到的话，真的就是工业机器人，也就是像库卡。
So, as a real machinery device, it will be industrial robots, or more specific like KUKA, the industrial robotic arms.
And what is your first memory of dancing?
我的第一次对于舞蹈的印象是从我的父母来的，他们是舞蹈老师，是国际标准舞的舞蹈老师，所以我从小就看他们在舞厅里面跳舞。
So I still vividly recall the sheer joy of witnessing my parents gracefully dance in the living room, particularly when they were dancing in the Viennese waltz. They were dance teachers also.
And what's the first movement you ever choreographed?
我其实不记得我的第一个编的动作是什么了，但是我很喜欢我应用在我作品里面的一个动作，它是来自于手语，它是 When I Fall in Love 的手语，我觉得它非常的美。
So I couldn't recall the first movement that I choreographed, but I really love how you show a particular sign language is from a song called When I Fall in Love from Edward Heyman and Victor Young. And I use it in one of my dance pieces. It features a human dancer, Hu Jian, performing a sign language duet alongside a KUKA industrial robot. The dance shows how human and robot can work together in harmony. And this really was one of my favorite pieces.
Okay, so speaking of the KUKA, you've been working with robotic manipulators now for at least 15 years. How many perceptually distinct movements audience members would reliably rate as distinct, do you think you've inscribed on machines like these? And how many have you named?
这是一个很有趣的问题，其实我从来没有那样子想过。然后我大概在回答这个问题的时候，我特别去找这一个作品的程式，大概是我跟库卡的3人舞大概是600行的程式，也就是大概在12分钟里面有600行程式的话，大概1分钟里面会有50行的程式在动。
So I never thought of these questions before. And instead, I actually look up on the coding program for KUKA. In this performance of our trial dance, it was about 600 lines of programming codes in 12 minutes, about 15 notes per minute, which close to 1 note per second.
因为我没有想过怎么命名，所以我也很 我未来应该会思考这件事情，因为的确我很不擅长，像是我在写程式的时候会有要怎么去叙述这一段到底是什么动作，其实我也常常写不太出来。
I frequently struggle to name specific movements in this, so this question serves as a valuable reminder for me.
Okay, so it was 600. Will you say the numbers again, Andrea?
600 programming code,
600 lines.
600 lines,
And then,
about 50 codes per minute. So
I see.
about 1 note per second.
So you're thinking of the programming lines as that library of movements that we saw.
To me, it's like a music score. So one coding line is like a note on the score. So like in 1 minute, there are 50 notes, and it's like a music to me.
Yeah, yeah. I love that analogy. I think that makes sense. So in my pre-show talk, I take a brief guess at what ink might mean to you, suggesting both personal and professional inroads. Could you share a bit about what it means to you?
对我来讲，就是这个作品最重要的是董阳之老师，因为董阳之老师他是一个非常慷慨的艺术家，然后他很信任我和黑川良一，把他的作品交给我跟黑川，然后让我们有很大的空间可以去诠释这件事情是非常不容易的。
So the most significant aspect of ink is the choreographer artist Dong Yangzi, who generously offered Kurokawa an ample space to interpret her work.
然后他是一个很特别的人，因为现在他还仍然不用手机，他已经80多岁了，他并不是使用手机，要找他的话要打有线电话。
So she's over 80 years old, and so she's in the generation that she doesn't use any cell phone, and so if you want to find her, you have to use a landline.
然后我觉得这个很有意义，是因为我和他的年纪差了2倍以上，然后我是键盘世代的小孩，就是我是不写字的，但是他是用毛笔，所以因为我和他有很多很多的不一样，所以我们的对话就产生了一个很有趣的关系。
So due to the age gap between Dong and Yi, they are about twice the age of each other. And so he's as a keyboard generation, and Dong was born in an era where cell phone was unheard of. This makes creating this piece particularly intriguing.
Has she seen it?
Yes. 对，然后他很喜欢，对。
And she really enjoyed it.
And what's your favorite part?
我很喜欢这个作品，它有一个特性是，它把视觉艺术和表演艺术的结构混合在一起，所以我们同时间在欣赏一个表演艺术，也在欣赏视觉艺术。因为视觉艺术的形式常常是我们要移动去看不同的画作，但表演艺术是坐在原地，但是所有的画作跟所有的一切在我们的眼前展开。
So having said that, I genuinely appreciate how all the elements come together so uniquely well in ink, creating a seamless blend of performing arts and visual arts. From dance, music, video, and robotic arms, I aim to present to the audience a dance performance that is also an exhibition, so that allow to the audience to build a connection with the performance as well.
And what do you envision next? What will robots be like in 500 years?
我其实正在进行一些新的作品，然后像是透过机器人拿取摄影机，所以有点像透过机器人的眼睛来看舞蹈，然 然后来看身体，然后来看整个空间跟故事，然后还有透过机器人拿麦克风来收取身体移动时候的声音，然后再邀请作曲家为这些声音作曲，把人身体的声音变成音乐。
So in one of my new projects, the robotic arms will be holding the camera, filming the performance in a way that human couldn't. It will allow the audience to see the dance and the performance in a whole new vision, as well as recording the sound of the performance body while they move. That will help us, and that will help us to create music in the performance as well.
Does it have a working title?
目前叫做 This Life and Voices。
All right, well, we wanted to open it up to a couple questions from the audience, maybe 2 or 3.
What was your role in designing what these robots would look like? And in particular, the bar that they're holding that often looks like a weapon.
对我来说，就是这2位机器人，然后他们手持着棍棒，有点像是笔杆一样的这样子的一个线条，它的确有时候很像武器，但事实上笔就是武器。
So the stick that the robotic arm holds, it looks like a stick. It simply does look like a weapon, but it's also similar to the calligraphy brush that we hold as a calligraphy brush. So in a way, calligraphy brush could be a weapon too when we wrote.
Because the word is like a weapon as well. So article could be a weapon. So it's like two different meaning together.
I've got 2 questions. One is, who is the composer? I don't see it listed in the program, who composed the music. And also, what training do your dancers have? Because I felt like their movement is like so graceful and also so precise and also so athletic. It's really a beautiful combination.
音乐家的话 the composer include a composer have the last piece is Christopher Rouse, and the DJ one, the turntable one is不是那个 Gabriel Prokofiev, yes, and before the Gabriel Prokofiev is composed by Ryoichi Kurokawa. Yes.
And the dancer training.
Yes. 舞者们他们其实都来自不同的身体训练，然后我们会一起进行一些像是肢体语言的交换，就我们会有一段时间一起即兴，然后有双人等等的，然后我也会观察他们的特性，然后给予不同的有点像动作元素，然后大家一起把这整个作品的氛围捏出来，就比较像在雕塑的过程，所以有点像你的元素一半，然后我的元素一半，然后我们一起融合在一起。
So all the dances come from different body practice, and they will come together and do different tryout and practice together. And it's almost like you are creating a sculpture. Everyone create and produce certain parts of the elements to make the piece all coming together.
然后因为我是一个很喜欢发展动作的舞者，就是我不是很喜欢只学编舞家给我的动作，但我有时候也会觉得 我也想要吸收到一些新的事物，所以我就让自己变成有点像那样的编舞家，就是我希望让舞者们保持他自己有的独特的语言，然后但是我有点像是一个园丁或者是一个教练也好，在适时的时候给予他不同的养分。
So he's a choreographer that really like to try out all different kind of movements. So he doesn't like to just tell each person what to do, but more like combine their ideas and his work together and maybe inspire something else new or listen to what the dancers wants to do in a certain part. And so in this way, he's more like a coach than a director.
Thank you for a very wonderful show. It was very innovative. I'm curious, your robots are presently stationary in the regard that they can't move beyond the movements we saw tonight. Do you ever desire or envision a time when robots will actually be ambulatory like humans and able to dance with humans?
这件事在今年有一些新的突破，就是因为的确目前我们看到的这个版本，它的库卡它是要留在原地不能够移动的，但我终于找到了全世界唯一我有办法使用的某种轮子，然后它被应用在新作品里面，所以我在作品的过程中，或者是每一个作品，我可以调整库卡它的位置。
So right now the version that we see here is fixed on the ground, but there will be a new version that he finally find a company that produce a specific wheel that can help they will be able to hold Kuka, and then so in the new piece of his performance, it will be able to move along with him.
我也很期待，就是未来有各种不同新的机器人的发展，就是回到刚刚有提到一个500年后的机器人的可能性的话，就是我很期待有不同的机器人，然后因为机器人都是人去发明出来的，所以有不一样的样子。那怎么那我们在未来的时候会遇到什么样的机器人，然后一起创造什么样的作品，然后很期待。
So robots have immense potential in various ways. However, the most remarkable aspect is how we as humans bring them into life through our imagination, shaping their design to influence our future lives. I'm eagerly anticipate the evolution of the future design.